everywhere. GBS.
A very good evening. My name is Beatrice Njeri. Our sign language interpreter is Paul Mathenge, and this is GBS News 9 coming to you live from Kenya's capital, Nairobi. Do keep your comments coming in through our SMS line 21144 and GBS TV Africa on all our social media handles. And now, President William Ruto has said Kenya remains a competitive investment destination of choice. He urged investors to take advantage of the lucrative investment opportunities available in the country. He spoke on Tuesday when he officially opened the Next-Gen Packaging Kenya EPZ at River in Machakos County. President Ruto outlined the measures that have been put in place to create a conducive investment environment in the country. He singled out the reduction of power tariff by 50% for investors or manufacturers working at night as one of the measures that has gone a long way in creating an environment hospitable to investment. He also disclosed that the government has increased acreage under cotton from 44,000 acres last year to 104,000 acres this year as part of efforts to increase local fabrics. President Ruto announced a partnership between Kenya and the United States facilitated by US aid with over 11 million US dollars aimed at job creation, boosting trade, and fortifying the textile and apparel subsector. U.S. Ambassador to Kenya, Meg Whitman, said the two countries will continue to work together for the mutual benefit of its citizens, particularly in the area of investments.
It is noteworthy that the textile and apparel sector, Next-Gen Packaging EPZ chosen area of investment, is now the dominant component of our EPZs, which presently hosts 39 apparel companies with a total capital investment of 25 billion Kenya shillings. Further, in the ranks of Kenyan exporters of various finished products to the United States, textile and apparel sector companies in our EPZs make up 29 out of 51 companies, employing nearly 60,000 people. Not only has Next-Gen Packaging EPZ entered a market with demonstrable present and potential returns, it has done so by taking advantage of the highly impressive, investor-friendly package of fiscal, infrastructural, and regulatory incentives to enter a highly promising economic sector. It is important to note that Kenya is a highly dynamic economy characterized by strong, diversified, and well-developed institutions in both public and private sector. It is also a global and Pan-African hub for banking, insurance, and services sectors, as well as a rising fintech and digital.
The Council of Governors has promised to go back to court and appeal after the doctors defied 3 court orders requiring them to end the strike and report back to work. Addressing the press today at the KICC building, the Council of Governors, in conjunction with the Cabinet Secretary for Health and Public Service, the government and instead vowed not to pay the striking doctors. Here is more on the same.
The Council of Governors, in conjunction with Health and Public Service Ministry, has vowed not to pay the striking doctors for defying and disrespecting the court orders severally after even offering them a dialogue grounds.
47 governors would go and do what they do best. KNH is here, KUTRH is here, MTRH is here. Those are the employers. And we are saying that because we have been entrusted with the lives of Kenyans, as a responsible government, we cannot discuss in perpetuity. So we do whatever it takes to plug in the gaps, and we want to tell the public that all good things must have a sacrifice. As a Minister for Public Service, I'm in charge of payroll. And I want to say that the union, I cannot continue working for free for a union which is not respecting court orders. So I've instructed my payroll people not to remit the dues for this particular union, because I will be abetting crime, and I will be abetting, disrespect for court orders.
The Council of Governors and the Ministry of Health either have maintained that they have no money and they cannot meet the demands of the doctors, and promise that the only money available is a stipend of 70,000 shillings to pay for the intern doctors.
Follow up to the doctors' refusal to call off the strike, we have instructed our council to immediately move to court and file the status report as to what we had agreed to and initialed on as a return to work formula. Equally, we will be asking our council to appeal to the court to review the orders that had been issued initially, so that we are allowed to take the necessary action to ensure that Kenyans continue to enjoy healthcare services.
As the blame game between the government and the doctors continues, many Kenyans in need of healthcare services have continued to lose their loved ones due to the effects of the doctors' strike. Davis Karani, GBS News, Nairobi.
In a pivotal consultative meeting orchestrated by the Cradle Children Foundation and the Center for Reproductive Rights, stakeholders engaged with members of parliament to deliberate on crucial amendments to the Sexual Offences Act. Under the leadership of Chantal Onyango, acting as the chairperson, the discussions delved into pressing issues surrounding sexual harassment and abuse, proposing solutions to fortify legal frameworks and protect vulnerable individuals. Stakeholders emphasized the imperative for precise definitions of grooming and consent within the legal framework, alongside advocating for stricter penalties to be imposed on offenders, and further underscore the significance of holding parents accountable for neglecting to report cases of defilement. It addressed the critical need for the care and protection of mentally challenged individuals over 18 years old, advocating for their rights to love and protection, and the discussions touched on the necessity for digital laws to align with the harassment laws, emphasizing the importance of comprehensive victim support measures, and all were made for the establishment of public registries for offenders, coupled with the recognition of the significance of rehabilitation centers, among other issues. The deliberations during the meeting underscored a collective commitment among stakeholders to safeguard vulnerable individuals and enact robust legal frameworks to address sexual offenses comprehensively.
Add the opinions, and we shall incorporate the opinions they've given to us to add, so that we can make this a solid document. Remember, we are doing this in the best interest of this country. We are not doing it in the best interest of us as individuals. And we continue to have more stakeholders, so that in the end, we will have a document that is first acceptable to everyone, a document that incorporates all opinions of all stakeholders.
What we are saying as the Cradle is that sexual offenses should only be heard by a competent, trained judge or magistrate, and this is not an issue where chiefs and people within the community can sit down and talk about it and decide it within their cultural traditions. In as much as we respect our traditions, we're saying that some of them are repugnant, and that sexual offenses are very, very serious, and they should be heard within our court systems.
Most importantly, I think for me, this piece of legislation and the drafts that I'm seeing, I want to talk about the gender desks. We have had the gender desks for a long time. The gender desks have not been working. And no one is questioning on why the gender desks are not working. Registered sex offenders. You know, recently with the femicide issues, you found out that the aggressors, the criminals in those cases that were highlighted apparently had many pending cases and had been reported before. So why are we not talking about having a public register for sex offenders? We have sex offenders who've been convicted and they're still working in nursery schools, they are working in daycare centers, they are working they are actually working with vulnerable communities which they could also affect in terms of whether they have reformed or they have not reformed.
Education ministers from 12 African countries have converged in Nairobi for the 6th Forum of the Partnership for Skills in Applied Sciences, Engineering and Technology, where they are discussing strategies to strengthen Africa's capability in preparing manpower needed for modern industrial economies in Africa. The conference, which began today, will run through on Thursday, brings together the academia, industry and governments across Africa to discuss the future of skills, education and entrepreneurship in the continent. The theme of the conference is leveraging technical, vocational and technical training in the knowledge and skills ecosystem for Africa's industrialization. The minister will particularly discuss the role of African higher education in shaping the continent's green economy and future of work. More than 500 participants are expected to attend the forum. Speaking ahead of the conference, Kenya's Cabinet Secretary for Education, Dr. Ezekiel Machogu, said Africa's socio-economic transformation relies on its ability to develop relevant skills and promote scientific research and technology for industry and society. Kenya's Ministry of Education is collaborating with the PASET Secretariat and the International Center of Insect Psychology and Ecology, the Regional Coordination Unit for PASET's Regional Scholarship and Innovation Fund to organize the event.
Increasing digital and green world with the recognition that by 2050, Africa's greatest asset, its young people, will constitute 35% of the global youth population. PASET's mandate is more important now than ever. The strategic imperative TVET within Africa's economic landscape is undeniable. Yet, as we all know, and I'm sure many of us have visited, TVET institutions across the continent continue to face challenges to delivering on their promise.
The chairperson of PASET, my sister, the Minister for State of Education in Rwanda, Madam Wirere, my sister, Minister for Education, Uganda, Dr. Monica Musenero, and then Professor Aminata, the Executive Director of PASET from Senegal, Dr. Muna from World Bank, and all of you, ladies and gentlemen, good morning.
In line with our theme, leveraging technical and vocational education and training in the knowledge and skills ecosystems of Africa's industrialization, we recognize the crucial role of TVET in building a skilled workforce. By integrating TVET into our broader knowledge and skills ecosystem, we will be able to unlock the full potential of Africa's industrialization. On this note, I am glad that PASET acknowledges the critical role of TVET and has identified priority sectors that include transport, energy, manufacturing, and ICT. I am optimistic that the programs developed to address challenges and generate opportunities in these sectors will not only create jobs, but will trigger industrialization with those sectors as the epicenters.
Do keep your comments coming in through our SMS line 21144 and GBS TV Africa on all our social media handles. On that note, let us take our very fast break. We'll be right back with even more.
Hello everyone! Welcome to Fun Story Class. Friends, today I'm going to read the story of The Ant and the Grasshopper. friend, this is a very interesting story, so listen carefully. The ant and grasshopper were good friends. The grasshopper was enjoying the fine weather, playing all day. He asked the ant for food, and ant gave him some. But my food is just enough for my family to last until the end of winter. If I give you more, we too will starve.
So through the four gospel books, Matthew, Mark, and Luke, John, we can know the heart of Jesus in depth.
그리고 우리가 속히 느끼는 그 예수님을 성경을 통해 느낄 수 있어서 너무 감사합니다.
And the Jesus that we can feel him through the scriptures, and I'm very thankful about that. Jesus Christ came to this earth for our
죄를
sins.
지셨고
He carried our sins,
십자가에 못 박혀 주고 죄의 형벌을 당하셨고
and he was crucified, and he received the punishment.
부활하셨습니다.
And resurrected in 3 days.
이것이 우리가 말하는 복음입니다.
This is the gospel that we speak.
예수님께 우리 죄를 위해 죽으신 이야기.
About how Jesus died for our sins. The purpose of Jesus being
우리
crucified.
죄를 담당하기 위하여 십자가에 못 박혀 죽으셨습니다.
He was crucified to pay for our sins.
그래서 예수 십자가에 못 박혀 죽으심으로 우리 죄가 분명히 씻어졌는데
And through Jesus being crucified, clearly our sins have been washed clean.
참 안타깝게도 많은 사람은 여전히 죄인이라고 말합니다.
However, unfortunately, many people still say that they are sinners.
Everywhere. GBS.
Welcome back. You're still watching GBS News 9. It's often said your mouth is the gateway to your digestion, which is equivalent to your general health. But how well do you take care of this most important organ? Oral health often takes a back seat in our daily routines, but its significance cannot be overstated. From cavities to gum diseases, poor oral hygiene can affect your overall and general. Oral health is linked to various aspects of our lives, including our physical health, confidence, and even our social interactions. To delve deeper into this important subject, GBS TV went on a fact-finding mission and conducted an oral talk with Dr. Mr. Kim Kadir of Senior Dentist at their hospital, who helped debunk some of the myths that has either led us to do mistakes while managing our oral hygiene. In our first series, we talk about dental decay, what causes it, and what way to go forward with it. Here is Susan Nganga with the details.
How well do you know your dental hygiene? Do you have bad breath, discolored teeth, or is your dental formula intact? GBS TV has these answers for you. Come with me. The world population stands at approximately over 8 billion people, which translates to 8 billion potential oral problems. Thus, dental hygiene awareness. Oral health stands as a cornerstone of our overall well-being, influencing not only physical health, but also quality of life and productivity. However, despite its paramount importance, oral diseases persist as a prevalent chronic condition globally, burdening individuals, families, and healthcare systems. In Kenya, the landscape is no different. The Kenyan National Oral Health Policy, emerging from a thorough situation analysis, revealed significant gaps in oral health systems, including infrastructure, workforce, and technology. But what perception drives this case?
Mi sioni kwa sababu kama na brush meno kila siku mara 3. Sasa kuna haja gani niende na mimi na brush meno? Haina haja.
Sioni ikiwa important kwangu kwa sababu naona tu meno zangu ziko sawa, ziko healthy.
Cha tuseme last nilienda ilikuwa nikiwa form 3. Mpaka sasa hivi bado. Mpaka sasa hiyo ni hata tuseme mwaka 2.
Dr. Mustakim Kwadir, a senior dental surgeon at the Real Hospital, will be helping us demystify the importance of taking care of our body's gateway.
Hygiene is something that's very important, and many of us have a very different mentality towards oral hygiene.
What exactly are cavities? How do we prevent them? And what happens if left untreated?
Okay. Cavities are caused by bacteria called Streptococcus mutans, strep mutans. They are attracted to your teeth because of presence of sugar. You understand? When sugar sits on your teeth, when you don't clean your teeth, the food debris, which includes carbohydrates and sugar, sits on your teeth. The bacteria builds up, feeding on that, and releases acid. The acid etches or erodes the enamel surface, and the bacteria keep sitting there, forming a hub for them to grow.
The mentality we often go to the dentist when having a toothache is root canal. But what happens if the diagnosis is wrong?
Oh, before I got the antibiotic, I started with the braces, which we had to do a long process because of my previous dentist who had tampered with my jaws and my teeth. He removed part of my teeth, 4 of them, which was not supposed to be done. So we had to take a process. We started with the braces to align the teeth, then later we put the antibiotic.
And at what instance should we really consider it?
We normally avoid extractions. Yeah, we always try and save the tooth because there is nothing in this world that will replace your natural tooth. Yes, there is technology like zirconium that can. It's the computerized type of crown. So zirconium is the closest we have to a natural tooth. But now, if you remove that tooth, the only thing you can do is either a bridge or an implant or something. Well, people consider it as the cheapest option. They're in pain, go to a dentist, get it removed. There are clinics that do extractions at 500 shillings, 1,000, some people 6,000, whatever the rate. Avoid extractions. Try saving your natural tooth. Yeah.
Many a times, people have shunned seeking medical attention while having dental problems and instead devised ways of
As long as it's not acidic, there are patients I would even tell someone who has a root canal done or a procedure having root canal done. I would tell them go home. Yes, you're on your antibiotics and painkillers and mouthwashes and whatnot. I would also ask you to have warm salt water gargles every night, and anyone can do that. I mean, as long as you're not swallowing, it's maintaining your oral hygiene. So there are home-based procedures, though you have to be smart enough to understand. Some people say rub bananas on your teeth. I mean, you have to be logical enough to understand what's happening, but it's up to individuals. So if you feel like your home remedy is not working and you've done it multiple times, I would yet recommend visit a dentist.
it is apparent dental decay or dental cavity is a standout case. Thus, awareness and education are essential. On the second part of the series, we will discuss all we need to know about bad breath. Susan Nganga, GBS News.
Moving on, tragedy struck in Machakos County as the flash floods claimed 1 life and threatened the safety of 17 others, prompting a swift response from emergency teams. Following heavy rainfall, the voracious waters of River Athi burst its banks, leaving residents in Kinanie and Syokimau stranded. Multi-sectoral efforts, spearheaded by the Machakos County Emergency Disaster Management Unit, Kenya Red Cross Society, and the National Disaster Operations Center, managed to rescue the endangered individuals. Governor Wavinya Ndeti, on site at Kinanie, announced the establishment of a temporary rescue center while urging residents to steer clear of flooded rivers. Susan Nganga with the details.
At least 1 person was killed by flash floods, as 17 others were rescued in a joint operation by multi-sectoral emergency teams deployed in flood-prone regions of Kinanie and Syokimau in Mavoko, Machakos County. Machakos County Emergency Disaster Management Unit, the Kenya Red Cross Society, and the National Disaster Operations Center personnel successfully pulled the 17 people who were at the brink of drowning in the ferocious waters of River Athi, which burst its banks. Governor Wavinya Ndeti, who visited the operation zone at Kinanie, announced the county government plan to establish a temporary rescue center at Kinanie Dispensary.
Just requesting my people, tafadhali, mukiona saa hii mito imeanza kufurika, tafadhali, tokeni. Ndio wachukuliwe, waletwe hapa, walale hapa, kuna chakula, kuna kila kitu. We do not want to lose our people.
Severe flooding has devastated hundreds of families in Nairobi and Machakos County, leaving them stranded in the cold after heavy overnight rains.
Inafikana. Kuamka nikakuta niko kwa maji na niko na watoto. Nikashindwa nitaenda wapi. Nikachukua mesa nikawekanisha juu. Watoto vile niliwekanisha juu wakasimama. Kuamka asubuhi nikashindwa nitafanya nini. Vile nilishindwa nitafanya nini nikaamuka. Hata saa hii ndio nimepika. Unaona vyombo zangu hata ndio hii. Nikachukua watoto nikaenda nikaweka kwa jirani. Vile niliweka kwa jirani, mimi nikuchukua vitu zangu na viatu. Unaona vile nimevaa slippers. Nikatoka nikaenda. Saa hii ndio narudi. Hata sijui hiyo nyumba iko namna gani.
The Red Cross estimate that over 6,800 people have been affected with around 250 families displaced.
Since the start of the rains, I have lost 8 cattle, 8 chickens, and 9 goats as a result of the rains. And even this house where I'm talking to you is destroyed. This is the 5th time I'm rebuilding it. I don't know what to do. This is a problem that reoccurs in my life every year when it rains.
In Syokimau, Machakos County, Katani Road turned into a river after drainage systems were overwhelmed by the torrential rain. Motorists and pedestrians found themselves unable to navigate the flooded streets, while small business owners saw their shops and kiosks submerged.
It was around 3 or 4 in the morning when the water level started coming up. Tukaamshwa, tukajaribu kutoa magari, but it was too late. Magari yote yameingia maji. Sisi tunaishi ground floor. Now the water started coming out from the houses kutoka kwa sewage system.
The biggest problem we have is drainage. The road construction that was being done at the back there has blocked the water. Ndio maana tuko na hii maji.
Susan Nganga, GBS News.
Moving on, an end to the ongoing strike by doctors has been shattered just a day after government officials expressed optimism for a resolution. The Doctors' Union, under the leadership of Secretary General Davji Atela, remains steadfast in their demands, particularly concerning the plight of interns. Despite Health Cabinet Secretary Susan Nakhumicha's announcement of a significant allocation of 6.1 billion Kenyan shillings to address issues raised by the striking doctors, the strike persists. The committee has taken action, instructing their council to file a status report in the court following what they termed as the doctors' failure to call off the strike, prolonging the healthcare crisis. Here is more on this.
In a world where hope hangs by a thread and lives are at stake, a devastating reality grips the nation. Patients face the possibility of prolonged suffering as the doctors have now been on strike for 41 days since March 14, 2024, paralyzing service provision across all public health facilities.
An inherent right. The right to demonstrate, the right to picket, the right to present our petitions to
And we want to say that if at all these other institutions that are involved, they were to be available and respond as early as possible, treat the issue of health as a matter of urgency, then we will be back. But without that, we want to say we are willing to be out, because there is no way you can be able to tell us that among the issue we brought out, none of them have been controverted or even be said that it is not implementable.
In an exclusive interview with GBS TV, Kenya Medical Practitioners, Pharmacists and Dentists Union Secretary General Davji Atela revealed that the strike will only end with the posting letters of medical doctors' interns, a plan to pay doctors of their salary arrears, a plan to employ doctors annually, and a new collective bargaining agreement for the new cycle and members of different facilities across the country.
We started our strike on 13th of March 2024, and we were on this strike to join the government, because the government has been on strike for the last 7 years. And this was because we had a collective bargaining agreement that was signed in 2017, and then that's not been implemented. We have a basic salary component that the government was to implement and pay the doctors across the country, but they're not paid. Also, we had an agreement that the intern doctors who graduate then need to be posted 30 days after they got their council license, but this was not being done. So we were demanding for those posting of these particular doctors, but instead the government decided to reduce their wages by over 90%. That is violation of a collective bargaining agreement. This strike will end with the posting letters of medical doctor interns. It will also end with a plan to pay the doctors their enhanced enhanced salary. It will also end with a plan to have an annual employment of doctors, and also a plan to have collective bargaining agreement for the new cycle and also for different facilities across the country.
Barely a day after the side of the government expressed optimism that the deal ending the strike would be signed on Tuesday, doctors representing their unions failed to attend the Monday meeting held at the Kenyatta International Convention Center, citing engagement in discussions regarding the agreement slotted for the signing.
Let me say that this circus is over. You saw here. You are here with us 3 days. We come here, 47 governors with Bendera. We are here, 14% of the cabinet is here, by the way. 14% of the cabinet sitting here. Not 1 day, 2 days, 3 days. The amount of humiliation that you've been taken through by the union is just unimaginable. It's on another level. As a Minister for Public Service, I'm in charge of payroll. And I want to say that the union, I cannot continue working for free for a union which is not respecting court orders. So I've instructed my payroll people not to remit the dues for this particular union, because I'll be abetting crime, and I'll be abetting, disrespect for court orders. Enough is enough.
The government has presented a 70,000 Kenya shillings offer for the medical interns in place of the 206,000 Kenya shillings set in the collective bargaining agreement, which the doctors have turned down.
Many thanks for joining this live broadcast. We have a lot lined up for you in our news segment tonight. But first, let us take a quick commercial break.
수많이 국경을 넘어 결국 최후의 결정지는 요동성이 될 것이다. 불화살을 쏘아라! 후연 황제, 단 한 명만을 노릴 것입니다. 살아 돌아오기 힘든 결사대요. 네 놈은 도대체 누구냐? 나는 대고구려의 왕정 암덕이다.
Mtu aliniinspire, let's say my husband, because yeye ndo alikuwa hiyo biashara.
So maybe unaweza tuambia hizo challenges zile unapitia, then how do you overcome them?
Like sometimes hadi nakupeanga do, nilikuwa nimeshikilia kitu yako, ukirudisha do yangu na kupatia.
Kwa hivyo it's like a
unajua, let me tell you, uzuri ya biashara, ukiwa umeka useme vitu mingi pamoja. Like ukikosa kuuza sockets, utauza viatu. Ukikosa kuuza viatu, furniture zitaenda. Environment. Mtu au learn environment kwanza, unaona. Unajua inaweza kuwa place akuuzi mandazi. So nikiweka mandazi, kutakuwa na place ya kuuzwa mandazi, so they'll all come.
Yeah.
Mtu anaishi Githurai, unataka kwenda kumwekea Air Force za box. Atanunua saa ngapi?
Na mwenye ananunua anajua mahali zinatoka.
Yeah.
Everywhere. GBS.
Welcome back to the broadcast, and now to matters international news. In Burundi, relentless rains unleashed chaos, displacing hundreds of thousands and leaving a trail of destruction in their wake. Homes have submerged, schools damaged, and communities left grappling with the aftermath. Meanwhile, in neighboring Kenya, heavy downpours too have led to deadly floods, claiming lives and disrupting the subsets of over 100,000 people, with both countries reeling from the impact of these natural unfolding adversities.
Les faits sont là. Les impacts économiques commencent.
The facts are there. The economic impacts are starting to weigh heavily. But why these floods? It must be said that they are associated with the climate changes that are affecting Burundi, like other countries in the region. It's not just the port. We saw Gatumba in total distress, same as Kibenga, same as the Kinindo West neighborhoods. Rumonge is also in distress today, even Nyanzalak. In fact, we can say the entire coastline of Lake Tanganyika is in distress as far as I am concerned. Since last year, the rain and the water levels have been rising here. Little by little, the land is getting waterlogged. Now, it has reached this level and we've never seen it this bad. It's terrible. It's the first time I've seen it like this in my lifetime.
There was a heavy downpour from around 7 p.m. till dawn. The water here was a lot. It was heavily flooded on this whole road. It was like a river, and you could not tell where the road ended and the trenches were. It all looked the same, but we hope the government will help us.
Farmers in Ekombe Bonji, a village of southwest region in Cameroon, on Saturday expressed their struggles with the tough challenges they had to encounter in the cocoa industry. One of the most prominent issues farmers had to deal with concerned the low prices and civil servants manipulate policies. Low price and lack of governmental support were not only factors contributing to farmers suffering in the cocoa industry. A soaring climate change in the West Africa also led to poor harvest and skyrocketing cost of cocoa beans. Along with a huge increase in production expenses, chocolate manufacturers and brand gained the most profits, while farmers in farm states were left with far less than to be expected, creating a huge imbalance and inequality in the cocoa market. Netanyahu, among other farmers, called for the government to keep a close eye to the civil servants' activities and to ensure funds were allocated to farmers transparently.
The government civil servants, what they do for agri department, where they work closely with farmers, and then they manipulate farmers and not forget this money. They dupe farmers right from bush to document. Farmers, they pay 5,000. Some they pay 10,000. They say they open an account for receive that chemical. But at the tail end, some people they register like 3 times. So you see the manipulation. They collect farmer money, and then the money will support for give farmer through that chemical. They not give money, they not give chemicals. Okay, I think say we farmers will suffer plenty now because of manipulation where it is for network, for government, the LBA. The price for cacao for Cameroon. They give you when they say a weekly prices from Douala, where the arrangement be made between the LBA with the government in place. They are good friends them, they are good neighbors them. They come, they give those things and to them. The other one, then they manipulate them. They record them, they chop money, they know they do them. So if government, if we follow these people, then strictly, say when they extend this thing for farmers, them may go straight to the farmer. And if they want to make some of these things, they work rightly. May they involve village heads and youth president, make them they see how they monitor the activity as they go operational.
Mosquito biting for bush. So the Benue government try intervene for the price of cocoa, make it be stable. They know the shake. You go this store, they say 2,000. You go this store, they say 1,500. You go this store, they say 1. You go this store, they say 1,000. Okay, they look at my way.
In a recent development, a South African court ruled in favor of the Umkhonto we Sizwe that the party backed by former President Jacob Zuma, granting it the right to use its trademark name, the logo, in the upcoming general elections scheduled for May 29th. This decision marked another setback for the ruling African National Congress, the ANC, in its ongoing legal battles with Zuma and his newly formed political entity. The court's ruling in favor of Zuma's party now adds further complexity to South Africa's political dynamics, setting the stage for a closely watched electoral contest in the months ahead. Moving on, as Chicago grapples with a surge in migrant arrivals, tensions have been mounting among local residents who felt neglected within the city's rapid response to their crisis. Many longtime residents voiced their concerns about overlooking existing issues like homelessness, crime, and lack of essential services in underserved neighborhoods. Chicago has allocated over $300 million to accommodate the influx of more than 38,000 migrants, sparking disapproval from the community leaders about misplaced priorities.
Thousands of migrants that are being shipped to Democratic-led cities with African-American mayors being piled on to underserved communities is unfair both to the communities, but also unfair to the humanity that is forced into these neighborhoods, dropped off at police stations, dropped off in the middle of underserved neighborhoods.
Similarly, I think people are coming here with hope to acquire living wages, acquire some stability. And the only way that I feel like we can preserve that, that dream, right, is through building racial solidarity so that there is no competition.
One of the blessings of being an African American in the United States of America is that we understand the plight of the oppressed. We understand the plight of the disenfranchised. We understand what it is to be left out and looked over. We understand what it means to be stepped on and stepped over.
Do keep your comments coming in through our SMS line 21144 and GBS TV Africa on all our social media handles. That international news brings us to our sports news. Let's get sporty. World number 1 Nelly Korda equaled an LPGA record by winning her 5th tournament in a row as she claimed the first women's major of the year at the Chevron Championship. Victory on Sunday gave the American 5th tour win in 5 starts. Nelly Korda claimed her 13th LPGA tour title with last week's victory in Chevron Championship. Here are the details.
Nelly Korda victory at Chevron Championship in Texas. The 25-year-old American equaled the LPG Tour record of 5 consecutive wins. Nelly Korda started the final round one shot behind Ryu Hai Ran. Her 3 under 69 on Augusta Day in Texas saw her finish on 13 under to win her second major by 2 shots. Korda finished in style too, with a birdie on the last hole. The Tokyo gold medalist name remained resolute on leaderboards throughout the rest of the tournament. Nelly Korda's run of victory started with the LPGA drive on the championship in the last week of January. The 25-year-old then took 7 weeks off before returning in late March to win 3 events in 3 weeks: the Far Hills Seri Park Championship, Ford Championship, and T-Mobile Match Play, before claiming the Chevron Championship title. Nelly Korda was withdrawn from this week's LPGA Tour event to get some rest after winning her second major title at the Chevron Championship. Her next scheduled LPGA Tour appearance is in the Cognizant Founders Cup in New Jersey, which starts on 9th May 2024. Reporting for GBS TV, I am John Kinyanjui.
And that sports news brings us to the end of our news segment tonight. As always, here at GBS News 9, we make your news our business. My name is Beatrice Njeri. Our sign language interpreter is Paul Mathenge. Good night.
Everywhere. GBS.